Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Alf Radagast playing in the Tier 6 German Battleship Bayern. This is a ranked match in the not too distant past. I'm going to go in here and address the UI bug that was introduced with update 0.10.5. I know we're well past that now, but this game was recorded some time back. Now, you may be aware, if you've been paying attention, that there's going to be a new Tier 10 German battleship. What is it, the Schlieffen? Do I have that right? Regardless of what it is called or how it's pronounced, it's going to be replacing the Grosse Kurfürst. It'll have fewer guns. They will be more accurate. It'll have equivalent secondaries. And from what I gather, watching some of my favorite streamers, before release, it's going to have a 1-second buff on the main gun reload. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play, and I'm kind of excited about that. It'd be nice to see a German battleship get some love from wargaming. Okay, so back to the Bayern and the game at hand. You can see that we're playing an Epicenter game. Now, when Epicenter was introduced, I think it was a good idea. The whole concept behind the Epicenter, the 3 rings that you can see on the minimap there, and you can see the white lines of the UI directly ahead, was to promote teams getting close and kind of slugging it out. And then wargaming spent the next couple of years changing the game meta to promote long-range gameplay, specifically long-range HE spamming with ships like Thunderer and Conqueror, Smolensk. You get the idea. I'm not sure whether Epicenter game mode it makes sense anymore. It's not horrible that it still exists, but London is going to try and smoke up to avoid damage here. But the 380s on the Bayern, if they hit, will do a little damage, almost 10,000. Okay, so a little bit about the Bayern if you're not familiar with the ship. It does have 380s, as I just mentioned. Maximum AP damage, 10,900. Against slightly armored ships, you probably get a lot of overpens, even though they're just 380s, but tier for tier. Max HE shell damage is 4,500 with a 35% fire chance. Now, the AP shells hit really hard, and a Bayern also has a nice armor scheme. It's difficult to citadel and reasonably tanky. Like a lot of German battleships, it often becomes the target of HE spam. Oof. Lost the forward turret there, at least temporarily. And against angled battleships, it's sometimes difficult to get big damage because 380s, it's not a really big caliber. So when you have a 380 caliber gun, you're very often going to get bounces if you're hitting the side of the ship. I think that one landed in the deck. Andrea Doria, of course, is capable of doing some significant damage with SAP shells. Now, we do have 2 enemy submarines in the game. That's definitely a threat. Andrea Doria is going to show some broadside here. A little bit of damage, not a whole heck of a lot. HE spam continues. And one of the enemy submarines has just pinged our hero. Okay, back to the ship. So we've talked a little bit about the guns. See the range there on Minimap, 17.7 kilometers. Max speed, fully upgraded, 25 knots. Throw a speed flag on, get that a little bit better. Secondaries, decent for the tier, but the range on the secondaries is just, it's really not enough to be what I would consider viable, even at this tier. You know, it's a base 5.6 kilometer range on the secondaries. And he did get pinged at the very tail of the ship. One torpedo lands. Monahan is faced away, and I don't think Monahan's, well, he might be turning to get torpedoes away now. There's another ping. Those must be the Monahan torps, yeah? Yeah, maybe not. AP loaded. There's a little damage to Monahan. Not as effective as HE, but something's better than nothing. It's pinged again. I imagine the torpedoes from that submarine are already on the way. And a second ping. So if shells hit now, they're going to hurt. Takes out the forward gun on the New Mexico, at least temporarily, and moves behind the island, basically making those submarine torpedoes absolutely worthless to the enemy sub player as they smash into the island. Now, that's one thing that you can do when you're playing a ship that has been targeted by a sub. Find some cover and move to a position where when the torpedoes start to home, they're going to run into something solid other than you. Okay, so in general on the WoW's wiki, the pros of the Bayern: armor layout makes her highly resistant to damage, impressive range, gun caliber decent, not great, but decent. Lots of secondaries. They say decent range, but you're not going to get to use them very often. Above average speed and turning characteristics. Fairly stealthy. Yeah, I don't know about that. And they say good AA defense, but really what has good AA defense? The cons, according to the wiki, this ought to be nice here on the pretty much flat broadside New Mexico. Probably going to finish him off right here. And it does. Nice shot. The cons, the accuracy, dispersion, and Sigma on German battleships, generally not too good, although the new Schlieffen is apparently an exception to that. Slow turret traverse, pretty common for the tier. Kind of a long reload. Shells are light, so they don't have a whole lot of pen value at longer ranges. And as is pointed out here on the WoW's wiki, despite their caliber of 380 millimeters, the AP shell's damage is more similar to that of a 356 millimeter 14-inch gun than to other 15-inch guns. Sad but true. As you just saw there, non-pen, torpedo protection hit, and a ricochet. And then finally, HE shells do little damage and have a low fire chance, which makes them ineffective. That's all pretty much true. Bad guys are doing what they can to stay in this game. Good guys are down one Farragut. Bad guys are down in New Mexico and Dunkirk. And that Cachalot, or Cachala, or Cachalo is doing what he can to put torpedoes on something, but he's basically encircled. Doesn't really have much of a chance. Monahan is just kind of sitting there. Cachalot goes down. All the shells in the air. Hoping to get one on them on a hand. And now the bad guys are down 3 ships. And this one's looking more and more like a win for the good guys. Oh, London. You're going to accelerate and turn right into those shells. This could really hurt. Yeah. Al finishes off the London. And avoids the torpedoes. Nicely done. Alright, taking a look at the scoreboard. Oh, the good guys have this in the bag. Bad guys only have 2 ships left. Good guys still have 6 ships left. It's probably going to really hurt that Andrea Doria. Yes, sir, it did. And now this is all over but the shouting. Nice shot. That really was a nice shot, Al. Alright, so 39 shells on target, 9 secondary hits, 3 decaps. Is the Ketchlock going to eat a torpedo? Nope. Dove right under it. Over 1 million, well, 1.1 potential damage, and this is going to end rather abruptly, so I'll say great game. Thanks for sending it, I really appreciate it. Managed 3 kills, an incapacitation, a cap. You don't see that too often in a battleship, but it was an epicenter mode. 72,000 damage, and that potential damage just continues to climb. Those of you joining me, thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.